one of the largest gathering of world leaders that India has witnessed in the last 75 years at least. G20 has begun in India. The leaders have started arriving in India. Tomorrow the official ceremony will start happening, and the official sessions of G20 will also happen, where the world leaders will express their opinion regarding global issues of concern, the challenges and how to deal with them. Prime Minister Modi is having a very busy and hectic schedule, meeting several leaders and holding bilateral talks. Today, he held 3 bilateral conversations with Mauritius Prime Minister and then Bangladesh Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina. And then he has also had a bilateral conversation with President Joe Biden. This is interesting because this conversation, the bilateral talk between the two leaders, is happening in the short span of about 3 to 4 months. Prime Minister Modi and Joe Biden, they have met on the sidelines of G7 summit level talks in Hiroshima in Japan. Then Prime Minister Modi was invited as a special guest in USA, where the Biden family had hosted him over dinner in White House. And now President Biden is here in Delhi attending G20 summit level talks. While the issues around G20 are a little divided over the issue of Russia-Ukraine conflict and how India as a president of G20 is going to navigate through the differences and bring a consensus among world leaders, that will be a challenge for India, and that remains to be seen. What is important also is Prime Minister Modi is getting an opportunity to engage with world leaders, to have multiple bilateral issues also discussed on the sidelines of this meeting. President Biden's and Prime Minister Modi's visit is going to discuss all the issues that the two nations are having and how to further progress or further enhance those ties which have been discussed in Prime Minister Modi's visit to Washington DC. India and USA, they have been closely engaging on new and emerging technologies, cyberspace, intelligence sharing, maritime issues, international trade, rules-based order around maritime trade routes. These are some of the issues. Of course, there is a large presence of Indian diaspora in USA, which has an influential clout on socio-political and economic aspect of USA, and the leaders wants to tap that potential, where the trust between the two nations are high, and the two people from both the countries want to have closer engagement, and they want to develop together. Now USA have also agreed to share some technology where India and USA will be closely working around co-developing projects and issues of sensitive and critical technologies, from semiconductor to GE engine deal that has recently been signed. Several USA countries have shown interest in investing in India and skilling youth of India in developing and manufacturing those products or critical technology that world is needing currently. India is also discussing with USA about the energy transition, how the climate change, the issue of climate change is important, and how developed countries needs to finance and share the technologies to developing countries, so that those technologies can be scaled up and a common good of the globe can be done with a very scaled up, very huge capacity, manufacturing capacity, which of course India has. Also, India and USA have been engaging on the under the Quad summit level talks, where Prime Minister Modi and discusses his vision of Indo-Pacific issues with his counterparts from USA, Australia and Japan. And India is also being seen as a ally of these countries, as a counterweight of China, which tries to clearly dominate this South China Sea region and Indo-Pacific region, which also happens to hold about 1/3 of the global trade. So this is very important. That region also hosts significant amount of natural resources. Fishery is one of the important natural resources in that region also, which kind of has livelihood of so many countries who have a long coastal boundaries around the South China Sea, which is clearly in danger because of the dominance of one country, that is China. So these are the issues of strategic importance that the two leaders may have discussed. Also, how to engage bilaterally, how to advance collaboration in research and technology, how people-to-people exchange can be enhanced, issues of cybersecurity, crypto, new and emerging technology. Energy transition is something that India has been engaging in discussing with several countries. These issues have been discussed between the two leaders, and making a rare exception, Prime Minister has hosted President Biden at his residence in 7 Lok Kalyan Marg. This is a rare exception because normally Indian prime ministers have their foreign dignitaries or foreign guests hosted at Hyderabad House or some other venues. We have seen other cities also being chosen at times to host foreign dignitaries, but making a rare exception for President Biden, Prime Minister has hosted him at his residence, and that tells the kind of personal touch Prime Minister wanted to give to this US-India bilateral relationship. We can assume from here onwards, the two sides will be able to cement further the kind of discussions they have had in Washington, D.C., where the two sides expressed confidence about their strategic interests and their partnership and how to enhance them in all areas encompassing defense to, people-to-people engagement, education, space collaboration, critical and emerging technology, cyberspace, security, defense. So there is hardly any area which is left untouched in the India-US bilateral relationship. How to explore that more, how to enhance and strengthen those areas, and how to cooperate more has been a subject of discussion between the two leaders in the recent meetings. And we can assume that here onwards the meetings will also try to strengthen India-US bilateral partnership.